Unless you've spent the last 10 years of your life under a rock, you've heard of the show Mythbusters. You may have watched it, you may have just heard of it, but here's why that show is so popular. Everybody loves to take common knowledge and figure out, is it fact or is it fiction? So on today's episode, we're gonna talk about some of the myths in solar. And I really want to bust them, debunk them, and help you to understand what's true and what's not true about some of the things you've heard. On top of that, we're going to cover the financial benefits of going solar for yourself, for your home, as well as the environmental impact of the panels, how they get them, how they install them, and the long-term effects that they'll have or not have on our planet. Here's myth number 1. Technology is getting better and cheaper. You're not wrong. As technology gets better, some of the parts to make the technology get cheaper, but the reality is as things improve, costs go up. Here's an example. An iPhone 15 years ago or 10 years ago cost a couple of $100. Now they're almost $2,000 for the nicest one. As technology gets better, the prices go up. So if you're waiting for the cost of solar to go down, it hasn't happened. We've seen the trend go like this the entire way through. Except for the beginning, there's a small blip when the technology's new, but it is just consistently going up because as it gets better, it gets more expensive. Okay, here's myth number 2. Solar panels are gonna decrease my home's value. It's simply not true. There have been studies done by Zillow and other market leaders that say your house will sell faster and for more money. Now, why is that? Because if house A pays $200 a month for electricity and house B pays $180 for electricity plus solar, if I move into this house, my costs are less. Therefore, the value is higher for this home. It's almost a dollar for dollar addition to the valuation of your home when you have solar panels. On to myth number 3. Solar panels are a maintenance nightmare. Let me be honest with you. They're about as much maintenance as your windshield. Except there aren't rocks being hurled at it. It's a little black box that sits on your roof. It's a piece of glass with framing around it. There's not much that can go wrong. And these panels are warranted for 25 years, 30 years, sometimes even longer. So if anything does go wrong, they catch it quick and they come and fix it. But the reason they can warranty it for that long is because they know it ain't gonna break. The maintenance required is almost zero. On to myth number 4. Solar panels are inefficient. There's a very common misconception here because the efficiency of a solar panel is somewhere between 30 to 35%. And people say, wow, that's not very much. But based on Newton's laws of, I think, thermodynamics, the most it could ever be is 50%. That's the most because energy in, energy out, like the maximum efficiency is 50%. So if you're at 35%, you're at 70% of what's possible. And oh, by the way, there are no technologies even getting close to that 50%. Not coal, not nuclear, not gas, not solar, not wind, nothing. So in the realms of the efficiency, they are right on par, if not better, than most of their competitors. Next up, myth number 5. Solar panels will generate all my electricity needs. This one is partially true. So you can have a system that's big enough to create all the kilowatts that your home needs over the course of a given year. So in that way, you can do it. But you're never creating all of the energy you need in the moment that you need it, because when you're sleeping, there's no sunshine. So the panels can generate enough energy to run your house for a year, but they have to send it to the electricity company or send it to a battery and get it pumped back into the home because you're not going to use it when you generate it most of the time. Okay, on to myth number 6. Solar panels are only for environmentalists. This one is very much not true. In our experience, we've seen people get solar for a variety of reasons, whether it's the environment, whether it's saving money, whether it's making their house more efficient, using less energy, adding to the equity of their home. There are so many reasons to go solar. It's not just for environmentalists anymore. So many myths. Time for number 7. Solar panels are not durable. I hear this one a lot. Here's the reality. Solar panels are durable. You could walk on them. We don't recommend that you do it, but they're going to withstand quite a bit of force before you ever see any damage. One of my favorite myths is myth number 8. The installation is a huge hassle. No, it's not. In most cases, you don't even have to be home. They get it done lickety-split, and then they come back, and if they miss something, they do little tweaks, but for the most part, you have almost zero interaction or impact to your life. The next one might surprise you. Get ready for myth number 9. Solar panels are only effective in warm climates. This is just a misconception or a miscorrelation between heat and sunshine. Solar panels work where there is sun. Has nothing to do with the heat. Let's keep rolling to the double digits. Here's myth number 10. Solar panels will damage my roof. When your roofer comes to your house and puts new shingles on, they put a whole bunch of nails in your roof. Are they damaging your roof? Not really. So do we have to put holes in the roof to put the panels on? Absolutely. But they flash around them, they seal around them, they put rubber on top of them, they warranty the holes. Whatever they do is warranted, and you're not going to have to worry about water dripping through or things like that. They're just adding a physical structure on top of your roof. Here's myth number 11. Solar panels are only for new homes. I don't understand why this one floats around or why people think this, but here's my best guess. They think new homes are designed to handle solar because of all their energy efficiencies inside of them. That may be true, but older homes, because they lack some of the efficiency of the newer homes, are actually in need of solar, sometimes way more than the brand new houses. So there's a reason, there's an argument in both cases for getting solar, but it's not just for new homes. Yep, there's more. Here's number 12. Solar panels are just a fad. This one just goes into a long list of put your word in here are just a fad, like the internet or cell phones or social media or electric cars. Like, these are not fads. They're not going anywhere. These solar panels, when you put them on the roof, they're a little miracle. Like, they're little black boxes that create energy, and they're only getting better. They're not going anywhere. This isn't going away. More people are going solar now than they ever have before. At this point, if you're still watching, I applaud you, and you get lucky number 13. Here's myth number 13. Solar panels are not cost effective. This myth is easy to bust. You're right, they're not cost effective for every home and every situation. But for most people, they can save money by going solar versus sticking with their electricity company. Next up, myth number 14. Solar panels are only affordable for the wealthy. If you're trying to buy your solar panels cash and you're trying to come up with $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, you're right. Most people don't have that kind of money set aside to buy solar panels to wait 15, 20 years for a return on that investment. Here's the reality. With financing options and leasing options that now make it cheaper to be solar than to stick with the electricity company, it's no longer a question of whether or not you can afford it, because the cost is either the same or 10% higher, 10% lower. It's not changing your monthly expenses really at all, and over time, it saves you thousands. Myth number 15. Solar financing is complicated and time-consuming. What you're probably picturing is the last time you bought a car and you said yes, and then 2.5 or 3 hours later, you finally got done doing the paperwork and walked out of the dealership. Here's the good news. The financing and leasing options available typically take 30 to 90 seconds to apply and then 3 to 5 minutes to complete. For some of you, this one will be the one you've always wanted, your sweet 16, myth number 16. Leasing is the only way to afford solar panels. 10 years ago, you're probably right, because you had to buy them outright. But nowadays, there are so many loan options where you can spread the loan out for 15, 20, 25 years to where it drops the cost less than your current cost of electricity. Here's myth number 17. Solar panels have a slow return on investment and therefore make financing not worthwhile. All right, so sure, if you're gonna pay cash for your solar, it's going to take you 15, 17, 20 years to see a return on that investment. When you lease it or you take out a loan for the solar, both of those items are going to transfer with the ownership of the home. So whether you move in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or you're there for the rest of your life, that lease or loan is not going to stay with you if you move out of the home. So what are you actually spending? All you're spending on solar in those two options is the amount of money from the day you got it to the day you're no longer in the home. And if we've done the math equation correctly and you've actually been walked through solar for your home, that number will be less than what you would have paid otherwise to the utility company. So you're not investing anything. There's no money out of pocket to do it with most leases and most loans. It doesn't cost you anything to do it, and you're saving money almost immediately. So over the course of 3 to 5 years, your investment was that you saved $2,000 to $3,000. Here's myth number 18. Solar manufacturing has a high carbon footprint. Even if the answer to this is yes, so does everything else. And I'm not saying choose the lesser of two evils or whatever, But anytime you're harvesting a product from the earth, there is going to be an environmental impact. There's going to be a carbon footprint from it. Here's what makes solar unique. Once it is on your roof, from that moment moving forward, the carbon footprint is negative. And over the course of 5 or 10 years, depending on the size of your system, the overall cost of the system becomes environmentally and carbon footprinty net negative. And then at that point, every day you have the panels on your roof, you are better for the environment than any of the other options out there. Okay, real quick, in case you wanted more, here's some data to back that up. Solar panels, they've done the equation. For each kilowatt hour produced, it costs about 50 grams of carbon dioxide. So for the first 2 or 3 years, yes, there is a net negative to the carbon footprint. But by about year 3, solar panels have exceeded in production what it cost in creation. So at that point, they're net negative. If you want to compare it to other industries or other products, I'll let you Google that. It's pretty obvious which one is the best. Here's myth number 19. Solar panels won't last long enough for it to be worth it. You probably realize by now I'm a pretty logical person. I love warranties. Warranties always, there's always something being said that isn't being said. When you get a lifetime warranty on something, what's that inferring? It's inferring that it's not going to break, that you're not going to have issues with it. Because if a company said, here's a lifetime warranty, but their stuff was breaking after 6 months, they would go out of business. So what you're going to do, most warranties are going to exceed whatever the number says by 50 to 100%. Otherwise, it's not viable for the company. With that said, in solar, the panels are warranted for 25 or 30 years. What that means is they should last for way longer, but if they break, someone will fix them. So how much savings are you having? That doesn't enter into it because they're going to last for 25 years just based on the warranty. They're probably going to last for quite a bit longer. Now here's the cool part. Solar panels don't just suddenly explode like a letter in a James Bond film. They slowly degrade over time in efficiency, not the product itself, but in efficiency. So they might have been 100% efficient on day one, and 23 years into it, they might only be at 85% efficiency. But that doesn't mean you need a whole new system. It just means you need 1 or 2 more panels. And most people have the roof space that you're not trying to recycle these things every 25 years. You're just adding a few more. Now, eventually you might end up doing like what my dad did with television sets when I was a kid, just put the old one, the new one on top of the old one. But even then, we don't have a ton of these sitting in a landfill somewhere because they last a very long time. Myth number 20 will blow your mind. Here it is. Solar panels are only for large and spacious homes. The size of the home doesn't have anything to do with it. The size will only determine how many panels we have to put on the roof. So small homes get small systems, big homes get big systems, generically speaking. It has a lot to do with how much energy you're using and then how much space do we have on your roof. And there is a formula. If your roof is too small to handle all the energy you're using, you might not be a good fit for solar. Or if your usage is so low that we can't put enough panels, it would be too few panels on the roof, then you might not be a good fit for solar. But the size of the house has nothing to do with it. And for our final myth, here you go. Solar panels will only work in sunny climates. This is a similar point to the one about the heat, but come on. Solar works when there's sun. So here's maybe what you're saying. In North Dakota or northern Minnesota, they don't get as much sun year round, or they've got clouds, or they've got trees. Yes, solar is less efficient in areas like that. But here's the cool part, is most of these utility companies have made agreements, or they've made pledges to be carbon-free or 50% carbon-free by X. And in order to hit that goal, they need people to go solar. So what they do is they raise their incentives to make sure that it's a financially great decision for you to go solar, even if you're only getting 25 or 30% the energy that you would in a place like Arizona, for example. So as long as it financially makes sense for you, then any panel on any roof is a net benefit to the environment and the utility company. Hopefully having all those myths busted for you has helped you to really understand the financial benefits and some of the environmental impacts of solar. To wrap it up and put a little bow on it, here's the deal. If you're looking into getting solar, I'm in the same boat that you're in, generally speaking. If it doesn't make financial sense, I'm probably not going to do it. And if it's not going to help the environment, I'm probably not going to do it. So there has to be both. And here's the reality. In some cases, the home is not set up or the usage is not designed for it to be financially viable or environmentally helpful. But in most cases, you can save money, increase the value of your home, and help save the planet in the process.